Love in Action, Transforming Lives and Community. This is our mission at the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. And I want to invite you into loving action in this month of November as we continue our conscious action discussion through the practice of loving service, not just service, but loving service. So if you are in the Albuquerque area, I invite you to come get involved. Wednesday evenings in our interfaith food outreach. Join us on Sundays in community and spiritual practice. Come get inspired, but come build community. This too is loving action. And I invite you to do it with community so that you can have the greater experience of the divine as life itself.
All right, I have a little video for you. I'm going to have Georgiana pull this up for us on the screen. We're going to watch a little allegory that originates from the Jewish tradition. So that allegory is often known as the Feast of the Long Spoons. And the story goes that there was a spiritual student who was seeking answers, and they went to God and they said, "Show me the difference between heaven and hell." And this is what God showed them. And here's what's interesting. The hell is that we're using these spoons that are too long for us to feed ourselves. One of the stories goes that, what if our arms didn't bend, and how would we feed ourselves? And the exact same set of circumstances turns into heaven because they figured out how to collaborate and feed each other. The circumstances didn't change. There wasn't suddenly shorter spoons. The limitations of their experience did not change. What changed was consciousness. Their idea about what was possible is what changed. Take a minute for me right now and think about a situation in your life where you are quite sure that the circumstances need to change in order for you to be okay. Where we are quite sure as a society that circumstances, politics, government might need to change for us to be okay. And I am here to tell you the only thing that needs to change is consciousness. And that service as a practice isn't just to simply be charitable. Isn't just simply to do good works. It is to remind us of the fabric of belonging that is already so that our consciousness can come back to what is true. How many of you had group projects in school? Yeah? Did you love them? I loved a group project. For me, it was like playtime. It's like, what? We get to talk in class the whole time? Yay. But most people, were you the one who were like, I'm just going to let everybody else take care of this and I'm going to be over here closing my eyes? Which one tell the truth? There was always somebody in the group. Yeah, raise your hand. Who was like, I'm just going to let the smart ones do this. How do you handle group projects in school? Yeah, most people are like, oh, group project? Dang it. I'm going to end up doing all the work. It's going to be me. And I did all the work, but it was fun, so I didn't care. But group projects is kind of the only deal we have, right? If we want to be in the practice of spiritual living, if we want to know ourselves as divine, if we want to know the goodness of God itself, it is a group project. There is no other possibility. You can't feed yourself without the help of the people you are at the table with. There is not nary a morsel of food on your plate that did not come from somebody's farm, from somebody's soil. I mean, that's less and less true. I know we're synthesizing things, but follow me. There's not a thing that we do in this life solo. Not a thing. The air we breathe, we are in collaboration with the photosynthesis of the leaves. And yet, we walk around convinced of this isolation and separation and individualism. The greatest ill of our times is a false belief in separation. Period. Yes, Yusuf, exactly what I said. Separation is a false narrative that we have been handed by culture, by systems that would rather you be like the first set of people with the long spoons. These systems have been set up so that we compete, so that we think there is not enough, so that we break somebody else's spoon to make sure we get our own, except everybody's starving. Nobody's winning inside that story. That's hell. That is literally, in this Jewish allegory, the picture God painted of hell. Was a sense of individualism and separation. Nothing changed when the story turned to what heaven would look like. Nothing changed in the circumstances of those people. The spoons didn't change, the amount of food didn't change. Their thinking, their consciousness changed. So service as a practice becomes a metaphysical tool. Because service is the thing that helps you raise your awareness, remind yourself of possibility that you are already sitting at the great table of plenty. You have already been given a seat at the feast. But we walk around like our arms don't bend. We walk around like we don't know what to do with these long spoons, with this ever abundant resources of life itself. And what we have as a possibility, we get to be reminded of because we get into the practice of service. And everyone who's shared this month that have come up and given a little testimony about what service has meant to them have talked about the way they have been served by it. Right? Nobody got up here and talked about, oh, now that person's life is better. Dino has no idea if that person he let shower and stay at his place is alive or not today? No idea. But Dino was made better for it. Dino was reminded of the fabric of belonging. Marie is reminded every time she goes out onto the streets on Wednesday nights. Drea, who shared about her students, that she gets on a bus and a plane with 50 students, high school students, to show them colleges. Who does that? But she is reminded of what is possible every time she takes a kid to visit a school. Service is not for who we're serving. It is a metaphysical tool for us to come back to belonging, to remember the oneness that we belong to, and that my nourishment is 100% intertwined with your nourishment. And when we know ourselves more deeply to be in this oneness, the possibilities that we really long for in our lives become real. This idea that the circumstances have to change out here for me to be okay is a false narrative that takes your power away. That is my favorite thing about understanding spiritual law and metaphysics. Is because when you understand that your consciousness, your vibration, the frequency that you are moving at has power to change the circumstances of your life. And that your power to change your life is not out here. The world that works for everyone that Dina was talking about comes into being, the heaven on earth that we long for, the nirvana, utopia, whatever you want to call it, becomes possible because we become conscious co-creators of it. It was the same spoons, the same food, the same people. The circumstances didn't have to change for heaven to appear. And this is what is possible when you and I get into the conscious action of service, the loving action of service, and we remember there is no possible way to do it solo.